Hey there, toy collector friends and Transformers fans alike. I'm the Triple TC, that's the Time Travelling Toy Collector, and I would like to welcome you back to this next instalment of my Haslab journey. And this is what I think is going to be the final video looking at Victory Saber. We last left off having seen the combined spaceship jet mode variation of Victory Saber. This includes Victory Leo in there. There's Saber in there. There's the Brain of Courage sitting there in the cockpit, which we'll have a look at in a second. You can just about make him out there though. And yeah, Victory Leo is all here making up the rear section. And this is truly a phenomenal thing to behold. And it's, you know, sitting nicely on the included Victory and Autobot logo display base. I think it's magnificent. It reminds me, I'll just lift it off so we can have a real close look and put the nice display base over there. It reminds me a bit of a Micronauts vehicle from the 80s, which is not a criticism in any way, shape or form, because I love the Micronaut stuff, but it just I think it was called the Battle Cruiser, and it had different segments that could pop off and be their own ship. It just reminds me of that. I'm not saying it looks directly like it, but there's just a vibe about it that has that in to the forefront of my mind when I'm looking at it. But this is, I mean, I'm just taking a bit of time to just bring this back and forward to you for the camera's sake, because I just think it is a wonderful, wonderful ship. The engineering is great. The detailing is great. The incorporation of the shield section here is great. The opportunity to attach the V-lock cannon, the blaster, the over-the-shoulder cannons here. It just looks really, really great. And as we're aware, we do have tucked away. I probably won't be able to open it. Let me try and do it with the blade. A little bit, if I can do that. I don't want to waste your time and mine doing this. No, I can't. Can I get it? Try again. No, we'll look at it again in a second. But the Brain of Courage, I mean, I think you can see him in there. It's sitting in the cockpit. But yeah, it's just, there's just so much detailing here. I think it's just a really, really well put together ship. I think that I know that there are masterpiece versions of this toy, this product out in the world, but I think this Haslab version has really captured the essence of it in a way that it isn't so grand that it's too big to manage and too big to handle. I mean, don't get me wrong, it is big, but it's not, I would say it's not too big. And it's nice that if I just try and turn it over, sorry, just so the underside, you can see all the various components as they tab together. As you move along there, you can see the various key bits and pieces. But there is a tab here in the crutch area, shall we say, and there's a tab here in that extension piece. The two fit together in an ideal world, but it is not great on my copy, at least. It really does require a bit of force to get that tabbed in. That seems to have done it. But yeah, it is something that makes me, it's one of the few and rare aspects of this product, which is mostly by and large very good, that does make me a little wary, purely because there's a lot of toy sitting on that, and the last thing I think I would want, or anyone else would want, is for it to fall off and get damaged. But this is the, if you like, the ultimate combined form vehicle mode of our 3 component figures. And I can't remember if in the last video I did a little sort of size comparison, but here we have Holly from the rescue team, and you can see how he scales with it. And this is Holly, of course, who came along with Fire and was included as part of the Haslab offering. So I think this is a wonderful representation, and I've loved having it in this mode. But of course, it's not the final mode. And the final mode is the combination of Victory Victory Leo, Saber, and the V-Star jet, and they all merge to form Victory Saber. So without further ado, let's transform this Mega V-Jet, V-Star jet. I don't actually know what it's called, the combined form. Does it have a name? Can you let me know in the comments below, those who are more aficionados of this particular genre than I am. Yeah, let me know. And in the meantime, I'm going to transform him off screen, off camera rather, into his super robot mode. And in the meantime, if you could possibly like the video, that would be great. And if alongside doing that, you could also subscribe to the channel, that would be amazing, as it would help me reach my next subscriber milestone, which would be, of course, absolutely amazing. Thank you so much, and I shall see you in a moment. And here we have Victory Saber all transformed up into his mega robot super mode, and I've also attached him to, I hope you can see, the display base. And just for some scale, on the display base here you can see we've put Holly and Fire, who are the two rescue bots that we got with Victory Saber. So for scale, they barely come up to his ankles, but they don't like to stand up for too long without getting into trouble, so I'll just move them across. You can see here though that on the stand we are given some options for flexibility and for posing, because he hovers slightly above the stand, which is nice, because it means you're not going to get any scraping or scratching of the display stand. But then as we go all the way up, and let me bring him so you can see him, you can see he now has Victory Leo's wings and upper weapon system, as well as parts of Victory Leo are now forming his victory boots, if that's what you want to call them. All in all, this is a fantastic piece. I will say, when I've put them back together again, I've put them into this mode for the first time ever, I've had real trouble with the Saber unit staying inside the chest. And I know it's got that single press button release tab thing which holds it in place, but it hasn't really, I feel like there should be something else holding it in place that isn't doing everything that I would hope that it would be doing. And so as a result of that, I think I'm certainly seeing a bit of looseness there that I hadn't seen previously. I'm sure it's me doing something wrong, because as I say, it held perfectly fine before, so I'm sure it's just me. And when I deconstruct it back into the two separate units, I'll take a closer look. But yeah, all in all, I really think this is a tremendous piece. And ultimately, I have to say, I'm super pleased that I caved in and picked up my first ever Haslab, because it really is a wonderful piece. There are, of course, a few minor issues, as we've seen along the way, but for me, those minor issues are substantially eclipsed by just the phenomenalness of the scale of the piece. It just has such a presence. I'm trying to think of the most appropriate word to use, but it just has a really strong presence that I'm so pleased with. And of course, he also has, in the second Haslab that I picked up, he has a villain to confront in the shape of Deathsaurus. Now, I think I've mentioned this to you before. I haven't even taken Deathsaurus out of the box yet. Haven't even taken it out of the box yet. And here we are in, where are we? May 2025. Deathsaurus is still in the box. I opened the box up just to make sure, just to see what was inside components wise, and all I saw was the sealed brown boxes. I think they were brown. Haven't gone inside yet, so I'm really hoping to God there's no damage to it, but my belief is that that's not the case. But I must admit, having heard some of the stories recently about people who are currently receiving their Omega Prime, which has had some damage to it, it has set my heart aflutter slightly. So I'm a bit worried about that. But that will be my next thing that I'm looking at in my Haslab Journey series, I will be getting Deathsaurus out of the box and looking at the component parts, and I'll be tackling it pretty much the same way I've tackled this Haslab of Victory Saber, to try and give the component elements as much time as possible. But with Deathsaurus, it's not quite the same, because he's only really one robot with a couple of chest force associates, as opposed to this chap who has 3 robots plus the 2 mini-bots, plus the different modes. So I think Deathsaurus isn't going to take up quite as much time to take us through. But absolutely love it. I love the onboard storage. I love the way we can, you can store the blade in either of the legs. It can attach to the back. There's just so much versatility with the piece that, I'm still exploring it, and I'm going to carry on exploring it. But for now, I'm happy to have given him an awful lot of airtime, which I think he deserves. As I say, that's one of the reasons I've done it this way, is I know a lot of people have sort of, they're less sort of explorations and enjoyment. It's just sort of banging out of the box. Let's take a quick look at it. Let's do a transformation tutorial and review, all of which are really important, and I personally value immensely. But at the end of the day, I want to enjoy and share what this looks like, especially if people haven't purchased it and are thinking about spending significantly more on the aftermarket. Then, I think it's right and proper that time is taken. I think a single 20-minute, 30-minute video, even just bashing through all the various modes really quickly, yes, even the base mode, doesn't really do it justice. I don't, in my opinion. Other opinion, and of course, it depends also what you want. You might want to just bash through it and be done with it. But for me, I'd rather spend a bit of time looking at each of the component parts, and the pros and any issues with any of them. I've noticed this a little bit. This, although the ratchets are still, as you can hopefully hear, pretty strong in this leg, it almost feels a little like it's loosened up in the time that I've been having it out of the box and messing with it. So I hope that's not quite the case, but it just feels like that knee ratchet is a little looser than perhaps I would like it to be. But again, that may just be me being overly cautious and overly sensitive. I love it. I'm glad I picked it up. I'm glad I backed it and got it. There's a little part of me that wishes that I picked up 2 of them, just so I could have had 2 of them. But by the same token, I think I'm pretty glad that I've got the one that I've got. Do let me know in the comments below if you picked up a Victory Saber, what your thoughts are, if you've had any issues with it, if over time it started to play up. Have you experienced any yellowing, for example? I've heard that started to happen to some people's. Again, for me, I'd be very mindful of how and where I display it, so that it doesn't possibly run into the any sort of natural light that could cause such things. But sometimes it might not be that. Sometimes it might simply be a case of, the plastic is such that is what is happening. So I'm gonna leave it here. I'm just gonna go in for one last zoom for our friend here, just to really get a nice look at that head sculpt, which I think is beautiful. I think the concept of the Brain Master is curious. I still don't fully understand how the logic of that works. I guess perhaps I never will, and maybe that's just part of the fun of collecting these things. Please, there we go. But yep, Victory Saber, fully tooled up, fully equipped, hovering on his stand. Fantastic. Really love it, and cannot wait to get Deathsaurus now out of his box and see what he has to offer. Thank you for sticking with me on my Haslab journey thus far. Of course, there's still a little more of it to come, as we've just been discussing. I hope you'll stick with me for that as well. Those videos will be along very soon. In the meantime, stick around, checked out the channel, there may be some other things there that are of interest to you. Excuse me. If so, don't hesitate to have a look around. Don't hesitate to like a video, and above all else, don't hesitate to subscribe to the channel. As you'll see, I'm in new milestone territory, so I'm very keen to keep advancing that and keep getting towards my next substantial milestone. And your subscription, if you're not currently subscribed, could help get me there. So yes, it's a boost for my ego, but it's also a boost for the channel and helps YouTube go, oh, actually, maybe we'll recommend this video to other people so that they can see it too. But if not, don't worry. I'm just glad you were here, and I'm very grateful that you've spent the last 20 or so minutes with me looking at Victory Saber in all his Victory Saber combined goodness. I've been the Triple TC, that's the Time Travelling Toy Collector. You've been a fantastic audience. As I said, this has been the Haslab Victory Saber, all combined up into his Super Robot mode. And I very much look forward to seeing you in a future, or indeed a past video. It just remains for me to say that a thing of beauty really is a toy forever. Take care. Bye-bye for now.